Welcome, Lawrence County, to the local law enforcement hour. This is your sheriff, John Myers, and our technical advisor, Maddie Hyde.
Hey, sir, how about you shut it for a second? We're already live.
So kick back and stay tuned and enjoy the show.
Thursdays. What?
You're on.
Right now?
Yeah.
I didn't hear nothing.
Hey, we know
You don't wear headphones.
we know we're on. Are you on?
My headphones are
So, did you do your waiver yet? Do your
I
waiver?
haven't. Go ahead and hit that button.
You should just automatically
Wait,
do
before
your
we
waiver.
get started,
sorry.
Blake, go ahead and say that speech you have to give.
Yes, I just want to get that disclaimer out of the way.
I love it.
City employee, you know how it is. The opinions and views that I may share today are those of my own. They may or may not reflect the opinions and views of the city of Lawrenceburg and the Lawrenceburg Police Department.
Why do you find why is that so entertaining?
Why,
Maddie?
is that funny?
Very
Because it sure wasn't when I got told I had to say
You've
that.
done a great job. You've done a great job.
So now let's talk. All right.
Good deal. All right, it's good to be back. This is a local law enforcement hour, and we've got a special guest on here, Travis Caldwell. Travis is
Commissioner.
what district is it? 5?
7th District.
Seventh District. 7th District Commissioner. We got you on here to talk a little bit about some of the stuff going on inside the county commission and some of the stuff that we've been doing that helps us out and law enforcement. We got Captain Blake Grooms over there, the man with the plan.
I'm just going with the flow.
So, y'all heard about the pink hair? Did y'all hear about the pink hair?
I heard something about a dress, too.
All right, so we might as well go on ahead and get this out of the way. Let's just go on ahead and get this out of the way at the beginning of the show. If you've heard that I'm wearing a dress, you've heard wrong. It's not happening. I draw a line sometimes, not all the time, but every now and then I draw a line. Just like I said at the Republican Party Tuesday night. I put on a dress and a wig, people's going to remember me for years. I dyed my hair pink in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. People forget about that in a few days. And it washes out. And it washes out, Maddie, the next day.
I'm sorry. I think your hair's a little too gray for it to wash out the
Oh,
next day.
yeah, this is the comedy hour now with Maddie
I
Staggs.
said that.
So,
I said that the moment, this is how it went. You said, hey, what if I dye my hair pink? And I was like, okay.
You said that's
should
a
do
great
that. I
idea.
said that's a great idea. And then you said it live, and then you came back and you're like, wait, how long's that going to stay in my hair? And I was like, well, too late now.
It's too late.
You done committed.
But that's
if
fine.
If it's in there a couple days, it'll be all right. It'll go pale pink. It'll look really
And I
lovely.
mean, I'm getting it cut the same day.
But I think you
and it's
should
going
do
to
your
be
beard
short.
also.
well, but you can look at it from a flip side of life, and that's, you talk about people will forget about your pink hair in, 2 or 3 days. But if
There's going to be
you
pictures that last forever.
If you stick with the original plan that also raised $1,600, I'll remind you.
It was over 1,600
The
actually.
great people of this county would be able to see just what their sheriff will do for a good cause.
Travis is a former Marine also. Devil dog. He's a devil dog.
Yeah.
Travis ain't putting on no dress either.
You've lost a vote if you put on a pink dress.
That's what, see? It's not about votes. It's not about votes.
Oh, no.
It's never
about raising money for
it-
cancer.
No. It's never about votes. I'm not wearing a dress, period.
You got to draw a line somewhere.
Say, I even let you out of it. I called back and said, pay the $300, I'll wear the dress for you.
You did.
I did.
You did.
That's how-
You come through now. I will say that, Blake. You donated some money, and they've been talking about that. What was it? 20 minutes we was on air, probably.
Yeah,
The
16
John kept
people's
saying
been-
over and over, he'd lean over, he'd say, I ain't wearing that dress. I don't know what they're talking about. I
Well,
ain't wearing that
it
dress.
was a good show. A lot of people was listening in, and
In the morning.
we got a lot of good feedback from that show. We had a good time. It
At
was.
7:45, you've got David and Blake in there together in the morning.
That's tomorrow morning, right?
Yes, at 7:45.
So I'll be calling
Which
in.
we
Matter
had
of fact,
Chris
I might stop
Jackson
in.
and Ryan Egley in here the other yesterday. And Chris has to wear a Trump shirt and a Trump hat. And I think Ryan's close to having to cut his hair in a mohawk.
Well, that's good.
So
That's good. He needs to. He needs to wear a mohawk. Ryan, if you're listening, get that mohawk. Go nuts and color it pink. I rode a horse last week too. Did y'all see that?
Oh, there's pictures.
was present.
First time I rode a horse in probably 30-something years. It's just like riding a bike. But the thing is, here's the thing. When they said that I was going to get to ride a horse, I'm thinking this is going to be perfect. This is going to be perfect because
He was
I'm going to
so
get somebody
excited.
to video it, maybe even live stream it. I'm going to climb on this horse and I'm going to rear it up on its back like Lone Ranger and smack it on the rear end. I'm going to tear off into the sunset. So
And then they put him on a miniature.
no,
I was giving him a hard time. He really wasn't
With
on
no
a
saddle,
miniature
no
horse, but
bridle.
he was getting really impatient. He was like, "Maddie, are you going to film me riding this horse or not?"
and I get on the horse, and it's a good-looking horse.
And he
it's an
goes to
average
grab
size
his
horse,
reins.
and there's nothing there. There's nothing there.
So
and
you
the little
see him
girl,
riding off, and he's going like
the little girl, I don't know how old she was. She looked 12, 13 maybe. She looks back up at me and she says, "Are you ready?" And I said, "I've been ready ever since I got on here. Give me the reins." And she said, "It don't have any." And we took off at a walk, getting led around the ring by a 12-year-old girl.
Took you about 10 minutes to complete your lap.
Wasn't nothing like what I thought it was. I'd had that envisioned of me rearing it up and
But-
taking off across the field. And I said, that's going to look so
But
cool.
did leaving ride day not make you smile and happy
Oh,
to
yeah, yeah,
see
yeah.
all of those kids out there?
No, it was a good thing. It was a good thing.
They have a good turnout.
They
Oh.
did. There was a bunch of people there.
I want to say that Herbie said there were over 1,000 kids at ride day.
Awesome. That's
was.
great. That's great.
Where you going to be for Halloween?
I don't dress up for Halloween.
You're
I
not going to do
never have.
nothing? What about you, Travis?
I ain't even thought of it. When's Halloween?
Next Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. We got trunk or treat on the square Saturday, right?
That's right. Spook
are you-
around downtown.
Are you going to be there?
Yes, sir. I'll be on duty, but I'll be there.
You're not going to have a booth?
first part. No booth.
See, I was in a booth like the first year I got in office or the second year I got in office. We had some kind of a booth. No, I was in a booth with somebody. I think it was with Jenny Gold with the Substance Abuse Coalition. It was pretty fun.
Oh yeah,
But-
great time.
But I don't have, my kids are grown up now. They don't trick or treat. They get out and get in trouble and throw eggs and roll yards and all that stuff. You're not
My
supposed to.
4-year-old has told his lovely mother that he has to be a T-Rex, and his 2-year-old baby sister's got to be a Stegosaurus. So
And what you gonna be? You gonna be the guy from Jurassic Park?
I make him or chop liver at the end of the night because oh my goodness, running them here, running them
It's
there.
exhausting.
It is. It's exhausting. I've almost, and I
It's
know
like
this.
you need
I know this sounds very selfish, but it has gotten to the point. Not last Halloween, but the Halloween before, because of COVID and everything. We spent right at 4 hours doing nothing but just driving to family members' house
Yes.
so they could see them in their costumes. I threw my hands up. I was like, if this is
They
going to
need
continue,
to make an
yeah,
event where you're at your house and all your family comes to you.
that's it. We'll meet you in the
Since
parking lot.
you have the kids.
Don't work
Parking
like
lot of
that.
I
Kroger.
know. You gotta
Get
go
out.
to
Let you
every
see me.
grandmother. You gotta go to every grandparent. You gotta go to aunts, uncles. It's exhausting. You get them out of the car seat.
Well, if you
the
live
car
out in the
seat.
country, I mean, if you don't live in a nice neighborhood where you can just kick your kids out, and say, all right, take off, be
Right.
back here in a couple hours or something. I mean, I was raised out in the country, and that's what we had to do. Except now, when I lived in Ohio, we would go out and we would go down the street, and there was a neighborhood right down the street, and we'd go hit that neighborhood. And remember the Zorro story that I told you Monday?
Where your mama made your costume.
See, back then in the 70s, you didn't go to town and pick out, and you didn't have all these cool costume places. Your mama made you something.
Amen.
And she came in there that one day and gave me some black jeans and a black shirt and a black cape and a black hat and drawed a mustache on my lip and gave me a stick. Said, here you go, you're Zorro.
So were you Don Alejandro or Don Diego?
He tells all these stories of his childhood, and he even had a mullet. And I've yet to see one picture with him with a mullet.
Oh,
when
you
I
ain't
get
gonna
my
see that
members
You ain't gonna
only
see that
jacket,
picture.
I'm gonna grow a mullet.
No, he'll eventually show us one.
I'm gonna get one, and I told you I'm gonna get a Cutlass. I'm gonna get a.
He's got his
I'm gonna get
comb.
a
He's had
86
people-
Cutlass.
He's had people mail him combs
I got
and bring
combs.
them in.
I got one for each pocket. I got 2 switchblade combs. I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna get when I get my members only jacket. I'm growing my mullet out, and we'll be
Then he's
bad
gonna get
news again.
permed.
Will be bad news. No, it curls naturally. I don't have to get it permed.
Oh, talking about getting them out and unbuckling them and putting them back in. Hey, this T-Rex costume is pretty cool. It's inflatable. So it looks like he's actually riding on the back of the T-Rex, and I think it's
I've
like
seen
4
those.
AA
They're
batteries, and it's got a little fan in there that blows the T-Rex up. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
My
That's
3-year-old
just
wanted-
comical in itself.
He wanted to be the same thing. He loves dinosaurs, and so we went out and got him a costume. I don't think it's exactly like yours, but it's a little T-Rex costume. And but it wasn't. We pulled it out of the box and go to put it on him. He was scared to death of it.
Oh, really?
Wouldn't even put the stupid thing on. So I don't know if he'll get dressed up next week or not. But
Sorry.
We got the juvenile hunt coming up this weekend. You taking that one over there on the juvenile hunt?
I got to find somebody to take one of them because I ain't taking them together. They'll be in a fight in the box.
Sure.
Somebody will be getting thrown out of the tree.
Seriously. Seriously.
Yeah,
So-
mine's grown up, so I don't. A buddy of mine's boy, I might be taking him Sunday, but
So is the juvenile hunt, does that include Crockett Park, or is that still
No,
excluded?
stop it.
from the-
it's a special hunt.
Gotcha.
That's going to be a special hunt.
Y'all are killing me. It's never going to happen.
Still waiting on the call, Rachel.
Caller, what's been going on in the city, man? I tell you what, we've been dealing with fires.
Well,
I went to a fire yesterday on Hudson Road, a barn, and I got to tell you this before we get started. So I roll up on this fire. They dispatch it out as a barn fire, and so I get their first one there, and there's a truck up by the barn. The barn's huge, a big hay barn. It's sitting up kind of on a hill, and there's a truck sitting beside it, facing us, like going down the drive to where we're at, and it's on fire too. And I mean, it's roaring. I mean, it's fully engulfed. Everything's fully engulfed. And there's a structure behind it that the firefighters done an absolute great job of getting that thing under control, because if it would have got the structure behind it, it would have got the scope of trees behind it, and then it would have been gone. Right. And they'd been fighting their butts off trying to get it out. But so we're sitting there. I'm sitting there with the owner and another guy, and a constable just showed up. And he goes back to his truck to get the radio or something. And I look back, and the truck that's sitting there fully engulfed. I mean, the tires are just roaring. I mean, the inside's on fire, black smoke's just pouring out of it. I don't know if the linkage from the shifter melted or what, but it came out of gear. And it starts coming down the drive at us. It looked like something out of a movie. And I mean, this truck is on fire coming at us, and we're just kind of looking at each other. What are we looking at? Is somebody driving this? I was expecting to see Ghost Rider get out of it, or something. And it hangs the ditch beside the drive, so it forces it off the road, and it rolls into the bean field right beside us and stops. And we just looked at each other like, well, I mean, I'm not a firefighter, and if I had a water hose, I'd spray it on it, but I don't have nothing.
did he catch the bean field on fire?
Yeah, caught the bean field, but you could hear all the fire trucks and the pumper trucks and everybody coming down the road, so they got there. But that was one of the craziest things I ever seen. I mean, it's like somebody went up there and started it and put it in gear and started driving it. I mean, just hear it come. Crazy.
Well, the EMA released a press release today with the drought monitor, and right now we're in a D2, which is a severe drought, and by the weekend they expect us to be in a D3, which is an extreme drought.
It's supposed to rain Monday, Tuesday, isn't it?
But
We've
they
got a
said
cold
before,
front coming.
Yeah,
but
the cold front's coming, but right now, I mean, it's not
burn
good.
nothing.
Yes.
Don't burn anything.
That's what
right
they
now.
released in their
Don't
press
burn your
release
garbage.
today.
I don't care if you got a burn barrel that you burn your garbage in. I don't care if
mean,
you've got a hole in the ground that you burn your garbage. Don't burn anything. Don't take a chance.
No.
Because I'm telling you, you could take a Zippo lighter with no fluid in it and set it on the ground and strike it, and I guarantee you it would start a fire.
How many acres was the final count of the
He-
big fire?
Shelton told me this
On
morning.
Stevenson Road, about 300, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
he said it was around 300 acres.
It was most of it was a cornfield. I got up there on
And
that
they don't
one, too.
know what started it.
Oh, really?
He said that it could have been them running their combines and it just got staticky, and that's what could have started it because it's so dry. He said, but they haven't found the initial place that it started.
We had
What
that
is
we had that
Shelton's
one. We had
number?
another.
Is this him calling in?
I don't know. We had one on West Point Road this afternoon too. Another barn fire. So yeah, don't burn anything right now. Wait until it rains because it isn't worth the risk right now. Is that still
No,
paired?
I can turn it on.
Pair it back up because we'll go over some stats here in just a minute. Blake, y'all had a murder, right, since the last time we was here?
Unfortunately,
I know you're limited on what you can say,
it's
but
never
can
a
you-
good day. But we had a subject, a male subject, shoot and kill another male subject here in the city limits, and it's senseless. Whenever you have people that resort to gunfire instead of talking it out or seeking mediation, something along them lines. So that's never a good thing. But our guys responded. There has been an arrest made, and our local city detectives have done a fantastic job with the crime scene, evidence preservation, so on and so forth. I know the chief's happy for them and happy because of what they've done.
Well, without giving too much information on it, and I was talking to the chief, I think the next day. That type of crime, and I can't go into detail, but that type of murder is going to happen no matter how quiet of a little town you have.
Yes, sir.
Those are going to happen.
They are.
You don't think it was a drug deal that went bad or nothing like that, from my understanding.
Right.
It just happened, and you're always going to have them. And that's and you got a guy in custody, whether he's guilty or not. You got an arrest in it, and there's no danger to the public. But you're always going to have those type of crimes, no matter how hard you work to keep your town quiet and clean. Those type of crimes are going to happen.
They are.
Yep.
And, besides that, we had a pretty nasty vehicle wreck down in Leoma, right there along the Shell station.
I saw the body cam footage of that one. One of my deputies got there and was applying a tourniquet.
Fantastic job.
Done a great job.
The guy's doing good.
So your deputy and the TWRA officer and a female civilian, from my understanding, got there. They jumped into action. A tourniquet was applied. As a matter of fact, after I got there, that's one of the first things I did was jump on the radio and instruct my officers to apply a tourniquet if needed. And I think they came back with something along the lines of one has already been applied. And unfortunately, the guy riding the motorcycle, he lost his leg. But if it wasn't for the quick actions of your deputy, that TWRA officer, and that female that stopped, that guy could have laid there and died. He could have laid there and bled out in less than 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
kudos to your guy, the TWRA officer, and that female. They saved somebody's life that day.
Same thing I've been saying. I was talking about it Tuesday night. I don't know why we're seeing such a spike in car crashes, but whatever the reason, wear your seatbelt, look through that front glass, and don't take your eyes off that front glass, and leave your cell phone alone.
Right.
And assume every time a vehicle pulls up to an intersection in front of you that they're going to pull out in front of you.
Right.
Just assume. Just already prepare yourself.
My wife does something, which, she was raised in the country like I was. My wife still does something that you don't hardly see anybody doing these days. And it's almost clockwork. Almost every time she pulls up to an intersection, she'll roll her windows down. Because that way, not only is she seeing what's going on, she could also hear something too. And how many times have you seen the bumper sticker from people who own motorcycles that it says bikers are dying to be seen? Mm-hmm. And that, and where I'm going with this is that's a pretty good little safeguard. It's not perfect, but if you don't see the motorcycle, you could probably still hear it if your windows are cracked. But that's just a bad location down there.
It is, and it was a bluebird day,
right?
Wasn't it? Sunny, pretty and sunny, clear. The sun was coming up, mm-hmm. and when you're pulling out, if you're pulling out of that Quick Mart or that other gas station or that road right there, that sun is hitting you pretty good,
right in the face.
All the more reason to take your time,
mm-hmm.
make sure nothing's coming. Motorcycles. I drove a motorcycle for about 3 or 4 years when I first got out of the military. And I had so many close calls. The last one I had a person pull right out in front of me, and I had to grab the front brake and stomp the rear brake, and almost went over the handlebars. And that's when I said, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I sold it.
And going back to it, that's a really, really, really bad location. The city, we have seen so many bad wrecks right there. And to give kudos to the mayor, me and him had a discussion the other day about revisiting putting in a traffic light right there. And I know, a lot of people in the county, that's just one more traffic light that's going to hold them up getting to work or may hold them up from getting home. But, it's my understanding that the state did a study for that area right there. And for whatever rhyme or reason, they didn't think that it was a location that needed a traffic light. But after talking to Blake, it was my understanding he's going to reach back out to the state and ask them to take another look at that, because at the end of the day, you just want people to be safe. You don't.
It is. I mean, from the overpass all the way up to Story and Lee, you got to drive the speed limit.
Right.
You got to be watching. You got to be checking your mirrors. I mean, and we all get in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a hurry today. Everybody gets in a hurry, and everybody exceeds the speed limit. But just pay attention. I mean, just pay attention. Defensive driving.
Right.
Anyway, we had 533 calls since last time. Since last Thursday, not the last Thursday, but the Thursday before, which was the 12th, right? 533 calls for service. Let's see how many arrests we had. I may not have arrests. I usually get that from my warrant clerk. That's not right. 83 traffic stops. Right, yeah. 83 traffic stops. See how many domestics we worked. Domestics have been up since forever. 13 domestics. That's like one a day over the last 2 weeks. Real close to it anyway. Other big one is auto wrecks. Let's see, that's 5 or 6, 7, 11.
Now, in y'all's
NBA,
auto wrecks,
9, that's 20.
Does dispatch your deputies to every wreck? Because I know now, you can call the highway patrol and, tell them their location and, say I've been in an accident. And they dispatch a trooper to them. Is their dispatch calling your dispatch and saying, hey, I've got somebody out on 5 Points Road. They've hit a mailbox and they're wanting a trooper for a report?
I don't know if we're getting dispatched on every wreck. But I think we're being told about it.
Okay.
And if there's road blockage, then yeah, we're going to go. I can't remember the last 1046 that we wasn't dispatched to, a wreck with injuries. I would have to get our 911 people over here to find out if we're getting dispatched on all of them. But I mean, they're up. I mean, there's no way that they're for whatever reason they're up. Usually, in the summer months, we're slammed with call volume. And if you look at and our system over at 911 is great because you can get a pie chart, you can get a graph that shows you spikes, and you always have a spike in the summer months. And then it backs off a little bit come fall of the year. Like right now, I've been saying it 100 times. I keep knocking on wood because it's been relatively quiet here the past few days. I mean, the radio isn't wide open all the time, and I think Barturin said it. He said it's creepy quiet. You know, like we're all expecting for something really bad to happen, and we know it's coming. But and then you'll see a spike right around the holidays, right around Thanksgiving through Christmas. You know,
It's generally domestic.
It's a tough time of year for a lot of people, and it's just, I mean, you see a lot of suicides and suicide attempts. But anyway, what's been going on with you, Travis? Tell us about what's going on in local government. What y'all had a meeting? What? This week? Was it this week? Was it this Tuesday? Yeah, it was this Tuesday.
I can't hardly keep up. Yeah.
It was this Tuesday.
It was.
Because it was before the Republican meeting, right?
No.
I thought somebody told me it was before the Republican meeting.
It was Monday because it was a special session, so it was Monday.
Monday.
The day before.
I got you.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's essentially the solid waste has become a problem. I guess you could say, with everything that's going up these days, gas, food, all that stuff. Essentially, our solid waste, what we pay to have a company receive our solid waste and haul it down to Mississippi to the big dump down there, they've almost doubled our rate, effective immediately. I think it was October 1st when they sent the email, but
so there's no garbage going in the ground at our dump.
Not that I'm aware of, no. And I'm still learning. Do what?
It's full.
Yeah,
it's
full.
been full for years.
Okay. Yeah, it's done. They've covered it up.
They haul it off.
Yeah. I'm still learning this stuff, too, so I may tell you something that's not 100% correct.
Well, she'll tell you because her dad, runs the
right.
place.
But, it's just, hey, the cost of things are going up, and, whether we like it or not, it is what it is.
I actually didn't know that. I didn't know that they had doubled hauling our garbage.
Yeah, it's almost doubled. I think it went from 38 to 65 or 35 to 68.
You're talking
one
about
of the two.
So the county pays a company
Yes.
to haul our garbage from here to Mississippi.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And this company's went up on its rates for whatever.
Yeah.
So
Supposedly.
is it the company or Mississippi?
They used to have somebody that contracted out locally that hauled our garbage to this landfill. I don't know who does it now.
It's a big company. Mm-hmm. I can't remember the name of them, but anyway, essentially, when the day they sent that email, they said, "Hey, your rate's going from here to here up until January 1st, and it's liable to go up again." Now, supposedly, we get a lot better rate than anyone else around. I'm not sure why that is, and even when it goes up to the higher rate, the county executive talking with other county mayors around. Even when we get that higher rate, it's still lower than most people are paying around us. But still, I mean, it's a problem. Anytime anything doubles, that's a problem. Yeah. So
what do we pay a month now?
We pay $54 a year.
We pay $54 a year.
Family pays $54. And like I said, let me give this caveat. Mm-hmm. I'm learning all this stuff still, so I may not tell you exactly right. But as far as I know, every family pays $54 a year. I couldn't tell you because my wife pays the bills. I don't.
That's your solid waste bill.
Yeah.
That's what every person in Lawrence County pays.
And so you're saying that it's going to go up, or it already has went up?
No. Okay. Let me back up. All right. So the county gets charged to haul the trash to Mississippi.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And then we charge the citizens, I get sort of a proportionate amount to what we've been getting charged, which for years has been, I guess it went up a little bit over time, and our rate never went up. I don't know. I really need to look back at that. But anyway, it'd be nice if it goes up proportionally with what it cost us. But anyway, the company that we pay to haul it to Mississippi has almost doubled their rate. So, being in business, my first thing was, hey, let's bid this out and see if anybody else is interested in doing it. See if we can get a cheaper rate.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's in the works right now. And hey, we may not. I don't know, but we have to at least take a look.
You have to.
Yeah.
When you're spending government dollars.
Yep.
You have to make sure you're doing your due diligence
Absolutely.
to get the most bang for your buck. You have to.
Absolutely.
We've been through the same thing with our vendors in the jail.
Yeah, and we say government dollars, and hey, let's break it down. It's taxpayer dollars. It's it's everybody out there, even the little old lady whose husband's died and she's still living in her house, paying her, paying her property taxes. Living on a tight budget. You really got to think about these people anytime anything comes. So, over the next few months, I'm going to be learning a whole lot about solid waste.
Are you on the committee?
No.
You're not.
I'm not.
How many people do we have on that committee?
I think there's 5, possibly 6.
Okay. All right.
Which I really need to recheck because I called a guy to ask a question today who I was certain he was on the committee, and come to find out and I've been to the committee meetings, but now normally when you go to a committee meeting, a lot of the commissioners come just because
even
if you're not on the committee, trying to keep up with everything that's going on. So when it comes time to voting for something, a lot of the discussion and debate and stuff happens in the committee meetings, not in the commission meetings. So,
right.
So anyway, I called a guy today who I thought was on the committee, and come to find out he ain't even on the committee. So. I guess I need to go back and look and find out who is all on that committee.
So approximately how much does it cost Lawrence County taxpayers to send an 18-wheeler load of garbage down to Mississippi?
118. I've probably heard that number in some of the meetings we've had recently, but I can't.
We can text a guy.
Can we text a guy? Do you know the man?
Text a guy.
Man.
He's probably going to be like, why are you asking this?
Look, as a taxpayer, and I've lived in Lawrence County for 40 years. What am I? Yeah, 40. Yeah, over 40 years. And as a taxpayer, when you tell me that you're going to take money from me, basically without my consent, a tax, that's basically what a tax is. It's a forced amount of money you got to pay without your consent. I know that I'm going to have, I got garbage. If you live, you're going to have garbage.
Absolutely.
And if I got to pay $75 a year, whatever, to make sure it gets disposed of properly, I'm not going to complain about that, really. When I have a problem with my tax dollars being blowed on like some kind of government subsidy program or some kind of government assistance,
stupid butterflies or something like that.
Something like that, if it's going to roads and schools and the landfill or whatever, I'm not going to. I might gripe when I'm writing a check every February 28th when I got to pay my land taxes. I'm in a bad mood, Maddie. Don't even look at me on February 28th because I wait till the last day like I'm supposed to.
That doesn't
and
shock
I go
me.
in there and I pay my land taxes.
Does not shock me at all.
And you don't even want
to
to be around me for at least a day.
February 28th, remember that. I hope that's not a Thursday.
And I bet he walks in there and doesn't even have his bill, too.
No, he don't.
She's like, hey, can you
I assure you
That's
he
the day.
doesn't.
That's the day your dadgum hunting license go out, and you got to pay your land taxes. And I'm just in a crappy mood the whole freaking day. I'm already mad thinking about it, and it's 4 months away.
I'll be here before you know it.
I don't get in that bad a mood, but it does chat me a little bit.
So that's garbage. What else is going on in county government?
Well, probably for the next 2 months until January 1st. Well, even after January, that'll be the big. It seems like. And I'm still learning. I've only been in there a year now, but it seems like big things come down the pipeline at a time. Right? So, all over the next couple of months, all of our focus will be on county garbage, solid waste. There for a few months, it was emergency services.
Yeah.
So, hey, hopefully we get this figured out right and come up with a good short-term solution and possibly some long-term solutions. But I can promise you this, Lawrence County isn't the only one who has a problem with this. Every county around.
We have, and I forget how many inmates that we send to the landfill every day to help. I think they have a line up there where they separate the recyclables, and I know we offset some tax dollars with that. Realistically, we probably save taxpayers probably close to Let me grab this. This is the mayor.
The mayor.
Let's see what he
mayor.
has
Oh,
to
gosh.
say. Hold on, y'all keep talking. Hello.
No, we all want to hear his conversation.
Hey.
I mean, I want to listen.
Speakerphone.
So anyway,
He's talking about his vehicle. It's nothing important.
Besides garbage, what
I thought
what's
you
another
was
big
listening
issue
to my
that
radio
Lawrence
show,
County's
and that's the reason why you was calling in.
messing
I
with
thought
today
you
in
had a
government.
question
Well,
or
I mean, no,
something. We're live
I don't
on
know that
air.
we're messing with it right now. but-
Okay, so they pay $65
Give me
per
no, it's all
ton.
right. Give me just a few minutes, and I'll call you
and
back.
it is a 22-ton
see.
average per truck, and they average anywhere from 25 to 30 trucks a week.
Oh, you may have to say that again while I get my
got
calculator
it.
out.
65 per ton, 22-ton average per truck, and they average 25 to 30 loads a week.
65.
You're looking at $35,000 a week.
$35,000 a week.
That's what we pay to have it.
And
hauled off.
hauling
Garbage.
garbage.
Now, listen, garbage
$35,000 a
is a
week.
big deal. My father is from Florida, but I guess he was born in New York, upstate New York. So we went up there 7 or 8 years ago, I believe, to meet some.
You know what they do with theirs?
Well, I'm about to tell you. Yeah. Well, I know what New York City does with theirs.
Take it out in the ocean and dump it.
Well, that wasn't what they were doing with this. So I was sitting on the front porch with my second or third uncle. I don't know what he is. You know, they're. Anyway, we were sitting there just having a conversation as much as I could understand of him because he's straight up a Yankee. But we're sitting there and there's trains going by, man. Every 10 minutes there's a train going by. And I said, what the crap are they hauling on those trains? He said, trash from New York City. And this was 6 hours away from New York City.
Wow.
But they put it out in the ocean.
Well, they're
In
going the
New
wrong
York.
way.
But the thing is, I mean, I'm sure they take it multiple places, but it's just unbelievable
Yeah.
how much trash New York goes through. And Dad can tell you, I don't know how, why he knows, but he's been told, and it's like stuck in his head.
Yeah,
But I mean,
Crazy.
New York City probably does 5 times in garbage what we do in a month.
Oh, yeah.
And back in
Easily.
E.O. Kaufman, we were told, and again, you know, it sounded crazy, but they figured up how much garbage New York City takes in a month, and they took that and they took the the square miles of Lawrence County, and in 1 month, New York City could put enough garbage on the ground 3 feet deep to cover our entire county.
That's crazy.
Doesn't shock me.
I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
1 month, 3 foot deep from south to the
Yeah.
north.
We should
east to
just
west.
find a really big sinkhole somewhere. No, I'm just
Something.
kidding. I'm
You
just
know,
kidding.
Well,
I-
I mean,
I'm not-
there's some places that burn it.
I'm not a tree hugger, and I'm not one of these climate, liberals or whatever. But I can't stand seeing garbage. I can't stand seeing it on the road. I can't stand seeing it in the creek. I get to wade fish maybe twice a year. And when I'm wade fishing and I'm seeing a can or a plastic bag or some bottles or something in the water on the bank, it just irks me. That somebody don't give a crap enough to keep it with them and put it in the garbage can when they get home.
Right.
But again, if you're telling me that this money that you're taxing me with is going to keep the county a little bit cleaner, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
I think most people are.
The
So how much-
majority of people understand, but you're always going to have a few that just scream.
Well, I get it. You got people out in the country that they burn their garbage.
Yeah.
When I was a
Mandy, reach
kid,
out to the
everybody
man.
burnt their
I want to
garbage.
know how much does Mississippi
Overseas, that's all we
charge us?
did.
That's exactly right.
He
Burn
just told you.
tires and
I thought that was
sewage
just
and
the
everything.
transportation.
Well, when I was in
That's it.
Kosovo in
Oh, so
04
it's
and
the same
5,
thing.
they
I don't
burnt
know.
tires on this holiday. I can't remember what the
Mississippi.
holiday was over there, but it looked like
they did it on a holiday.
yes, like for the whole weekend.
I guess
So this
everything in
black
Afghanistan was a
plume,
holiday.
yeah, this black plume was everywhere, during
Yeah.
that holiday, and I mean, it's just you couldn't breathe.
No, it's hard, man.
But anyway, what else is going on? Y'all got anything big coming up?
We don't have anything big. The only thing big right now I know of is what everybody's seeing on TV overseas, which is a atrocity. Yeah, I reckon before I left the house, I reckon Israel started their ground invasion.
I
in
thought
Gaza.
they'd already started it.
Well, they've been air assaults and stuff like that, but I reckon like big boots on ground.
Yeah, I think they were trying to give them time to get as many out as they could because I mean, when Israel goes in,
Yeah.
all hell breaks loose on
Yeah,
that
yeah,
place.
they take the glove. They took the gloves off this
Yeah.
time. You know, when you're parachuting terrorists into a peaceful music festival and killing civilians, yeah, that's terror. That's a terrorist group. You
And
know,
then
they're
you
not
got-
hitting military targets, or they're not hitting government
Right.
targets. They're hitting peaceful, music festivals.
And then
that
you
kinda
got
stuff.
all these governments around the world that are like, well, hold on, we need a ceasefire. You know, I'm here to tell you, you come into my house
Yeah.
Dad's watching.
and you can't. Look,
He said, "Yeah, that's where the 65 per ton is paid."
I got you.
I think he kind of knew we were talking about it. I was trying to sneak it in there. Maybe
I got
I
you.
just told him John wanted to know.
Yeah, you would have to ask that question. Good Lord, son.
But yeah, you come into
Stir
my
something
house and you kill my family. Don't think for one second that I'm not going to hit you back. And
And that's the way, and that's the way they operate. I mean, they're all by themselves over there.
Well, they have to be. I mean, you
They
look at
got-
everything around them
that's
is
it.
against them.
That's
Right.
it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Did you say in New York, NYU last night, the Palestinians were doing protest to the point where the Jewish students had to flee inside the building,
You gotta be
and I
kidding
believe they were locked inside the library. Man, it's just a shame. And you know what? I'm glad. Well, one, I'm not happy that it's happening, but two, if it has to, I'm glad it's happening up north in all them cities because you don't hear about that stuff happening
No.
in the South.
No.
You know, you hurt somebody, you accost somebody just because the Jewish religion is an absolute sin, and you should be shameful.
So check out this video. I took some quick videos of this fire, and this is the truck. This is the truck that rolled down the hill.
Did you
towards
get a
us.
video of the truck rolling towards you? Because
No.
that story was blowing up a little bit. in
No,
my
I
opinion.
if
Nobody
Yeah.
driving, it's coming out with smoke coming out the wheels.
Looked like Michael Myers was in the driver's seat.
There was two other guys right there that witnessed it. So I got eyewitness testimony that I'm not seeing things.
That old Nathan.
Yeah, that's Nathan Self.
Nathan
He
Self.
was a firefighter for a while, I think,
Was
up
he?
there at Hennerville.
That's Sheldon's boy there beside him, ain't it?
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I mean they done a great job. Look at the barn back there in the back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean it was just roaring when we rode up.
Yeah, that's Sheldon's boy.
And
That's
again,
probably the reason why he was rough talking him. He was barking off. See, right there's where it was. Now tell me I'm lying.
well,
right there.
I mean, somebody could have went back there and pushed
Yeah,
it.
There
it
ain't
looks like a
nobody
different
gonna-
truck. There was two trucks.
Ain't
Yeah,
nobody
that one's
gonna
got a
push that
white
truck.
hood.
You
The
couldn't
other
get
one has a
within 10
black
feet of that
hood.
truck. I'm
John.
telling you, it just started rolling. It came all the way right down here. He said,
At least that's the story that was told to the insurance
all
company.
right, I got eyewitness testimony. I just need to find out. That other video was I went down to some hunting land that I was trying to get permission to hunt on, and the owner had already had some metal targets set up down there. Well, I can't drive by a metal target without dinging it a couple of times. So I grabbed one of my 9 suppressed freaking assault rifles in the back seat that's just laying around, and I just grabbed one and hung it out the window and dinged it a few times. I said, "Hey, video it so he can't say that I killed somebody or something."
Lord.
He's got an armadillo problem down there.
A lot of people do right
He's
now.
got an infestation of them, and I talked to him when we got done when we come out, and I said we need to figure. You need to tell me when, and I'll get some suppressed ARs and a couple of side by sides, and we'll come down there and get rid of them for you. All of them.
One of my best friends in the world, one of the nicest guys in the world, Rick Bailey. Oh my goodness, them armadillos tore him up one year, tore his flower beds up one year to the point where, I mean, he's like sitting on his front porch, which is 22, like 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, just sitting there by himself. It's just hilarious just to think about. But
So what
Yeah,
y'all, speaking of that, and I got asked this question not long ago, what is, and I know there's a no discharging of firearms
I was
in the
just
city
about
limits.
to ask that question.
So if you're in the city limits and you have an armadillo problem, what do you tell people? What do you allow them to do, and what don't you allow them to do?
So a lot of things go without being said. It's like the tree falling in the forest. If there ain't There's nobody around to hear
Doesn't
it.
make a noise.
Does it even happen? Okay, does it even happen? So, with that being said, as far as the city ordinance is concerned, the only allowance in reference to livestock, I think there has to be a factor of aggression and the possibility of somebody getting hurt, like a vicious dog.
Or a vicious armadillo.
Right. So,
They're
if
nasty,
somebody,
man. They got leprosy and all that.
Right. So if somebody hears the tree falling and the police happen to show up, I would never encourage lying to a police officer because that's actually an offense.
No.
in itself. I'm just saying
It's our favorite word in law enforcement.
articulation.
Articulate. And I've always said, this is one of my sayings, so you can quote me on this. It's okay to fabricate as long as you can articulate.
Right. And hey, them armadillo,
get
they
that,
can
Maddie? Did you
they
write
can
that
jump
down?
high. They can be scary.
I don't even know what that means, but it's fine.
I mean,
I'm not going to be shooting anything.
So if you've
it's
got
okay.
if you've got an armadillo hanging out around your house and they're ugly, they're nasty, they got
following.
disease, and you want to off it, and you do, and then Joe Metro pulls up and the Lawrenceburg, the Lawrenceburg PD
Blake.
roll up and they get out and they say, we've had a complaint that you've been shooting a weapon inside the city limits, and your answer is going to be, yes, I'm not going to lie to you, I did, and here's why. Armadillo attacked me, and I was in fear of my life.
I could see his teeth.
I was in fear of my life and my kids' lives, and yes, I
See,
dispatched
if
him.
I said something like that to Blake and that really did happen, he would never let me live that down. But he would believe it coming from me.
Right.
He would.
Yeah. And hey, listen, the perception of fear is different from one person to another. Like I said, they can jump like 4 feet off the ground.
Have you ever seen them run?
Yes.
Their legs are like 1.5 feet long, and they look like a road runner when they come out of that shell, man. They can go like 40, 50 miles an hour.
And there you go. And if you don't know why
Are
they're
you
running at
scared
you,
of armadillos?
just stating facts.
Let me tell you what an armadillo will do. You shoot an armadillo, it'll charge you. It'll charge you. I was getting out of the tree stand one time. All right?
I knew there was a story.
It was coming at me with flames
I knew
coming.
it was coming. It latched on.
He had flames in his eye. No. So I've seen this armadillo around the tree stand. This
What
is
was the last
this is bow
story
season.
you talked about that came out of nowhere? What was that animal?
Anyway, so I carry the arrow and the broadhead that I have is about $30. By the time you buy the broadhead and you put it on the arrow, you're about $30, for a shot. So what I did is I took an old arrow and I keep it in my little backpack that I take to the
He's
tree stand, and it's got a funky little broke tip on it that I don't care. I don't care if I lose it.
And this is taking time, mind you.
So as I'm walking back to the four-wheeler, there's the armadillo, and he's walking towards me. And so I take the arrow out and I put it in my bow and I snap my release on it. And by the time I get the arrow on the string and I've got my release on it and get it at full draw, he's like 12 yards from me. And he's walking. He's looking at me. It's not like he's looking for something
was
to
taunting
eat
him.
or he's lost.
He almost spoke to him.
It's not like
He was taunting him.
I mean, he
Couldn't
freaking
handle
locked
it.
eyes with me. And I said, all right, dude, here you go. And I said,
And he really said that.
Yeah.
and I whacked him with that arrow, and I hit him right above the head, and it went in his shell. All right. So now the only thing sticking out above his neck is the fletching on my arrow. The rest of it's hanging out his rear end. He charges me. He don't veer off and go or turn around like I would. He freaking comes at me. Well, I kick at him and miss him. Hurt my hip, hurt my back. And he runs off down into the woods with my freaking arrow.
You just give him a sword and a shield. It's like a Ninja Turtle there.
So I go back to the four-wheeler and I go
Can you just see him kicking though and falling straight on his back? He's mad.
I didn't go down.
He was mad.
I didn't go down. I didn't go down, but I hurt my hip. But anyway, I looked for my arrow for like 30 minutes. Never found him. Never found my arrow. So my $30 arrow is gone.
So meanwhile, in Piney, Tennessee, we've got an armadillo walking around with John's arrow. If you find it,
It's got
3626.
green and white fletching, and it's got an old broke field point on it. I don't remember the size of it, but anyway.
As far as the
If
city
you
goes,
find it, please return it.
Right.
it seems like skunks have become a bigger problem here.
Well, it's
lately
funny you
than
say that.
usually.
We
And I've got a solution for them if anybody wants. They can call me separately.
again, we had a really nice lady call us about 2 months ago, and she's like, "Sir, I don't want to incriminate myself, but I got to talk to somebody." And I'm like, "Okay, what do you got?" And they gave it out as an animal call, which I was like, "All right, anything can come with these calls." And she said, "I have a den of skunks under my house." And she
Been there.
says, "I have counted 5 or 6 babies." And she says, "I know 2. There's 2 different older ones because I think one had some markings or something, whatever." And
She did
said,
her research.
and she said, I'm just gonna be honest, and because I want to ask this question, I'm thinking about just giving my husband a gun and let him go up under the house and just start shooting."
That's a great idea.
She said,
That's a great idea.
She said, "Because we can't take it anymore." She said, "We cannot take it anymore." And she said, "So if we do that, how much trouble are we going to get in?" And I did. I reminded her of our city ordinance. And I also, told her that sometimes when trees fall, you don't hear them. And again,
Find somebody with suppressor.
I couldn't
But
reiterate. It's
getting
all
like
about,
an AR underneath the
No.
house might be a little excessive or something.
and I tried to tell her, the biggest thing you have to think about, besides the law, is safety. We don't, whether your family members or the people across the street, we don't want anybody getting hurt because of that bad situation. I felt sorry for her, but according to her, she had 15 skunks underneath her house and did not know what to do. So, Travis, I think you had a solution.
Well, I don't know if I want to
You
talk
can't
about it on the
it.
air.
I think I know what you're talking about. You better not talk about
Hey, I
it.
do want to ask though, as far as shooting in the city limits, is that just for rimfire? Because now they have these pellet guns that are bad hombres. Is that
As far as I know, that's just rimfire.
gotcha?
And muzzleloaders too.
Gotcha.
If you want to make it up close and personal, just get a sword.
Or an arrow.
If you got skunks living under your house, hey, you do what you got to do.
You got a problem.
Yeah, boy.
Hey, how much time we got?
We got about 5 minutes. No, 4.
4. So we're having and I know y'all are going to be thrilled to hear this, our shop with the sheriff again.
I
You
didn't
know,
get
we
to go
had
Sure
last
won't be
year.
dressed
had it
shopping.
last year, and
You
it
did.
was one of the coolest things. One of the coolest
I was
things.
supposed to be there to make a
If
video.
if you can't get in the Christmas spirit doing this, then you are a
Scrooge.
Scrooge.
Yeah,
I started to say a Fuddy Dud or something else. But yeah, you got some problems if you can't get in the Christmas spirit with this. So what we do is we take in donations at the sheriff's office. The donations go to the reserve program. And then we take all the money that's donated and we let the SROs from every school, we got an SRO in every school, and we let the SRO along with the faculty and the teachers and they pick a kid, 1 or 2 kids. I'm not for sure. But anyway, we go and pick them up, and we take them to McDonald's
In the cop
first.
car. Tell me it's in the cop
No,
car.
I think we get a school bus.
Oh, shit.
I think it's a school bus. I can't remember. I'm going by what we did last year. But anyway, we pick them up and we take them to McDonald's, and McDonald's has been really good, man. They feed them, and then we go to Walmart and we give them a gift card and turn them loose and say, "Go nuts!"
Mm-hmm.
And it's the coolest thing, It's the coolest thing. And I'm trying to read, so bear with me here just a little bit. We don't what we don't do is we don't put it out to the public to pick the kids. You can't just call in and say, "Hey, I've got a nephew that would love it." We would love to be able to do that. We really
Right.
would. I wish we could get 1,000 kids and do this with, but we're limited. So, and
Where
the
can you drop off donations?
donations are due by Friday, December 1st. So the month of November, we're going to be WFO every day. We're going to be out looking to.
So how are you picking out the kids though?
The SROs and the school
Oh, I
officials.
got you.
Yeah, let me read the official thing that I got here.
So while he's reading that, man, that's amazing. I think that's great.
I think you can just take donations to the sheriff's office.
Right.
It says applications for the Shop with the Sheriff's December shopping program are not available to the public. At-risk and or underprivileged children are identified by referral from the school resource officers, the school guidance counselors, public aid workers, and other people involved with the school system. And so they all look at the kids at the school that they work at, and I can't remember if they get one or two. I want to say they get two. But anyway, it's a great thing.
2 per school?
I think, but don't quote me on that. It may just be
Yeah.
one.
We got 14 schools in the county.
Okay, so that's only 28 kids. Why can't they ride in a cop car?
I don't think we have one big enough.
What?
Hey,
You
what
have
about
several.
what about your SWAT, your big SWAT, your MRAP?
That'd be cool.
Get your MRAP out.
Okay, I'll do my part.
Y'all got insurance
Hey,
on that
if
thing?
I can get the MRAP to come out on this, will you wear a dress?
Negative.
No. I knew that was coming.
Not happening. Anyway, yeah, so you can drop off donations at the sheriff's office Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. That's at 240 West Gaines. Like I said, they're due before December 1st. The event date is going to be the 21st. $50, if you donate 50, you're mentioned on Facebook. $100, you're mentioned on Facebook and the radio station. Donations 200 plus, you get mentioned on Facebook and the radio, and you get your name on a banner. So
it's like this.
but nobody's doing it to get a mention. Nobody's
that's
doing
true.
it to get a name on a banner. They're doing it because I'm telling you, man, if you go to this thing and you watch these kids, I've always said you got to be a special kind of officer or deputy to be a school resource officer.
Absolutely.
You know, I've found out I've gotten older or softer in my older years, and I see a kid, that'd be my problem if I worked at a school. I'd want to take them all home. I would. I'd want to take them all home with me. But, these guys do a great job, and this is something that it's one of the coolest things you ever see is watching these kids. Just you give them that gift card, and you say, you got 200 and something bucks on there, go nuts. And they do. It's
So
great.
everybody knows, the economy has just been, not the best in the world. I'm going to say that instead of what's really on my mind. So, we do. We've got some families around here that are struggling a little bit, having some hard times. And here you've got something, such as this, or, like the Spirit of Santa that the city does as well. And, that we've got a lot of blessed people in this county. So why not go out, give a little bit of money. Let's put a smile on these kids' face. Because not only are we helping the kids, talking about a good thing police officers get to experience is seeing a smile on a kid's face, watching them, be turned loose inside Walmart.
I've got a deputy.
It's a win-win.
I've got a deputy that did something like this when he was a kid. I think he's from up north somewhere, and he was from a bigger city is where he was born at, and they didn't have nothing. To hear him talk, they didn't have nothing growing up. And he got to do this, and he was a kid. And he said, all I remember is that was the best Christmas I ever had. Hands down, the best Christmas I ever had. So come on in, 240 West Gaines, drop a check off, call in, let us know if you're going to donate. Do it before the end of November. We're out, right?
We're out.
All right.
Everybody say bye.
Appreciate it.
Bye.